Delhi, April 29th, 1999. Midnight at a high-profile party in the elite quarters of South Delhi. Models, socialites, actors, politicians, children, everyone wanted to be there. The venue was Tamarind Court, a trendy restaurant owned by socialite Beena Ramani. The night was filled with laughter, music, and the clinking of glasses. And behind the counter stood Jessica Lal, a 34-year-old model who had taken up bartending for the night, smiling, mixing drinks, moving in rhythm with the crowd. But before the night was over, her smile would be gone. One single bullet would silence her forever. Around 2 a.m., the bar was running out of drinks. Jessica refused to serve more. It was past closing time. Among the crowd was a young man named Manu Sharma, the son of a wealthy and influential politician from Haryana. He was used to privilege, used to getting what he wanted. That night, when Jessica told him no, he pulled out a pistol. He pointed it at her, and then he fired. The bullet struck Jessica in the head. She collapsed instantly. The music stopped. The crowd screamed, and Manu Sharma walked out as if nothing had happened. For the people there, it was a nightmare. For India, it became a symbol, a chilling reminder of the arrogance of power, of the way privilege shields the guilty, and of how justice is twisted by money and influence. Jessica Lal was rushed to the hospital, but it was too late. By morning, the news spread. Motto shot dead at Delhi party. Shock turned into anger, but the anger grew deeper when the trial began. More than 100 witnesses had been present, but one by one, they turned hostile. They claimed they hadn't seen anything. They said they couldn't remember. CCTV footage was mysteriously missing. Evidence disappeared. The prosecution collapsed, and in 2006, Manu Sharma was acquitted. He walked free. The verdict hit the country like an earthquake. The newspapers called it the Great Indian Shame. Ordinary citizens saw it as proof that the rich could kill and get away with it. If Jessica can't get justice, who can? They asked. And then something remarkable happened. The streets erupted with protest. People carried placards. We want justice for Jessica. Candlelight vigils lined India Gate, the same place where later, years down the line, people would march for Nirbhaya. For the first time, the power of the media and the people came together. News channels ran non-stop coverage. The public outcry became so loud that the case was reopened. In 2006, the Delhi High Court reversed the verdict. Manu Sharma was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. In that moment, Jessica Lal became more than a victim. She became a catalyst for change, proof that people's voices could shake even the strongest walls of privilege. But her family paid the heaviest price. Her sister, Sabrina Lal, became the face of the movement. She appeared on TV, wrote 2 newspapers, stood in front of crowds, demanding justice. Her grief became public. Her fight became symbolic. And though Manu Sharma was later released in 2024, good conduct after serving time, the shadow of his crime will always remain. The Jessica Lal case is remembered not just for the tragedy of a young woman shot dead for saying no, but for what followed: the awakening of a society that refused to stay silent. It showed that the collective voice of ordinary people could bend the system, that justice, however delayed, could still be won. But it also leaves us with haunting questions. How many Jessica Lals never make it to the headlines? How many stories of injustice vanish in silence because they lack media spotlight, or because the victims do not belong to the elite world? And in a society where power still shields the guilty, can true equality before the law ever exist? Jessica's smile will never return, but her story reminds us that sometimes it takes a single voice saying no, and the bullets that follow for a nation to awaken. And before we continue to the next case, I want to pause here, because stories like Jessica's cannot be allowed to fade into silence. If you are watching this, remember, every time you share, every time you subscribe, every time you keep these voices alive, you become part of the fight against forgetting. So please subscribe to Crimson Narratives, because together we keep the victims alive in memory and ensure their stories continue to haunt the powerful.